There are preachers, priests, monks, nuns that have lost their faith. They are now atheists who want to get out of the ministry. And over the years, I've collected stories of former clergy. I have about 25 or 30 friends who used to be preachers who are now out. And a few years ago, one of them from Norway, Levi Fragel, said, why don't we start a group of some sort of former preachers or preachers? Well, then Daniel Dennett and his colleague Linda Lascola last year, you may have seen the study they came up with about atheists in the pulpit. Well, some of the men that they found for their study were people that I had found because they've read Godless, and they write an email or a letter saying, by the way, I'm still in the pulpit, but I don't believe anymore, and I need to get out. What do I do? So I was able to give Dan and Linda 6 or 8 names, and they took about 3 of them and actually went and interviewed these ministers who are still preaching right now, who have to get up on Sunday morning. They don't believe it anymore, but they hate what they're saying. And they came out in that first part of the study, and then in this year they're now working on part 2 of ministers, atheists in the pulpit. And Richard Dawkins, for a number of years, has talked about, after we had our conference in Iceland, he said, we need to do something to help these clergy, atheists that are in the pulpit, but they don't know how to get out or what to do. So Dawkins and Robin or Elizabeth Cornwell and Linda Lascola and Daniel Dennett and I and a number of others, we started a brand new group that none of you can join. Isn't that nice? There's so many groups to join, but you can join the Freedom from Religion Foundation, by the way. And we started a group. It started in March of this year called the Clergy Project. And we started with about 52 names. Most of them were former like me, but a few of them are still in the ministry. Today, just this morning, we signed up a practicing Buddhist monk who's an atheist. We now have 113 people in the group, and with 31 of them are active clergy. There's a guy in Tennessee, his nickname, they all use pseudonyms in the group, and no more than 2 of us actually know the real identity of these people because their privacy is important. I was telling this story at a debate about a month ago in Indiana that they're having trouble trying to find an exit strategy, and the rabbi during the debate got up and said, it's an easy exit strategy. Get up on Sunday morning and say, I'm an atheist now, and you're all deluded. There's an exit strategy. But it's really sad. These guys, and there's some women too, they want to get out, and it's a timing thing. It's an issue of income, health care, children to support. Who's going to hire somebody with a divinity degree in this economy? What are you going to do? How do you change? So those of us who did make it out, we call ourselves alums or former. We are there in this secret invitation-only community called the Clergy Project. And Richard Dawkins put up a lot of money to actually make the webpage, and it's a pretty neat place. But it's very carefully screened and vetted, so who we allow to get in. In fact, some people we can't allow in because they're just, for some reason or other, don't qualify. But then some of them are agonizing, and some of them I haven't told my wife yet, and what are my kids? And yesterday my daughter was asking me these questions about God and religion, and I couldn't be honest with my own daughter. I wanted to tell her, what I know about the Bible, but I couldn't. Since March, 3 of them have graduated. 3 of them are now out of the ministry, including Jerry DeWitt, who is helping with rational recovery. He's a fireball. He left the ministry this summer, Pentecostal in Louisiana, and his income has cut in half, but he couldn't be happier. He says, what's the price of integrity, Others can't do that. Some of them, and we are not judgmental. Some of you might think, well, isn't hypocrisy wrong? Isn't it wrong to be lying, Yes, but sometimes it's like, well, suppose you're going through a breakup. When's the moment? Suppose you realize you're going to break up or divorce or whatever. Where's that point? So sometimes that point is a tough thing. Another one, Chris was his nickname in North Carolina. He just left about a month ago, and he's working for a nonprofit now. So he found some work. That's the big problem with them, is what to do, what work to do.